Let's be honest. The moment a woman truly falls in love with you, she changes in ways most men completely overlook. Not because she's trying to impress you, not because she's following dating advice, but because real feelings quietly reshape her behavior long before she ever says the words, "I love you." Here's the uncomfortable truth. Many men spend years chasing obvious signs while missing the subtle ones that matter most. They focus on texts, compliments, or physical affection. But genuine love isn't built on dramatic moments. It's revealed in consistent patterns that almost nobody teaches men to recognize. A woman can say she loves you and not mean it. She can also never say those words, yet show you every single day that her heart already belongs to you. The difference is found in her actions when nobody is watching. Female psychology isn't as mysterious as people make it seem. It's emotional, layered, and deeply connected to trust. When a woman feels emotionally safe with a man she respects, she begins investing parts of herself that she protects from everyone else. Those investments cannot be faked forever. The first sign is simple, but incredibly powerful. She lets you see the version of herself she hides from the rest of the world. Think about that. Everyone wears masks. She has one for coworkers, another for friends, another for strangers. She smiles when she's exhausted. She says she's fine when life feels overwhelming. She carefully manages how the world sees her, but love slowly removes those masks. She stops trying to appear perfect around you. She laughs at herself without embarrassment. She admits when she's scared. She tells you about mistakes she isn't proud of. She shares childhood memories that still affect her. She allows silence without feeling pressured to entertain you every second. Why? Because emotional safety is one of the deepest expressions of female attraction. When she trusts you enough to stop performing, she's giving you something incredibly valuable. She's saying, without words, "I believe you won't use my weaknesses against me." Most men don't realize how significant this is. Some mistake vulnerability for weakness. Others think she's becoming less interested because she's no longer trying to impress them. The opposite is usually true. People only stop performing when they feel accepted. That's why the strongest relationships don't look perfect. They look comfortable. Real love replaces constant performance with genuine connection. Notice whether she tells you about her fears instead of only her victories. Notice whether she asks for your opinion on things that actually matter to her. Notice whether she feels safe enough to cry, laugh uncontrollably, admit uncertainty, or simply exist without pretending everything is under control. These moments aren't accidental, they're emotional investments. And here's what many men miss. A woman who trusts you emotionally isn't asking you to solve every problem. Sometimes she simply wants to know whether you'll remain steady while she shares her world. Can you listen without judging? Can you stay calm without trying to control? Can you protect her confidence instead of using it to win arguments later? Those answers shape whether love continues growing or quietly begins disappearing. Because love isn't only measured by how much affection someone gives. It's measured by how safe they feel giving you their authentic self. The second sign is far less obvious, yet it reveals more about her heart than almost anything she could ever say. A woman who truly loves you begins to think in terms of we instead of me. That single shift changes everything. It doesn't happen overnight. It isn't forced, and it certainly isn't about losing her independence. Healthy love doesn't erase individuality. Instead, it naturally expands her perspective until your happiness becomes connected to her own. Pay attention to the conversations you have. Does she ask about your goals because she's genuinely curious, or because she's simply being polite? Does she remember details from a conversation you had weeks ago? Does she celebrate your progress with the same excitement you feel? These small moments carry enormous meaning. When a woman is emotionally invested, your victories begin to matter to her. She doesn't compete with your success. She doesn't quietly hope you stay small. Instead, she encourages you to grow because she sees your future as something she wants to be part of. That's a rare quality. Some people only support you when life is easy. Others disappear when your ambitions require sacrifice. But a woman who loves you often becomes one of your strongest supporters, not because she expects something in return, but because your dreams begin to feel personal to her. She'll ask how your interview went. She'll remember the presentation you were nervous about. She'll check in after an important meeting. She'll celebrate even the small wins that everyone else ignores. Those actions may seem ordinary. They're not. They reveal consistent emotional attention. Love isn't always loud. Sometimes it's remembering the tiny details that everyone else forgets. Think about the people you care about most. You naturally remember what's important to them. The same is true for her. She listens differently because your words carry emotional weight. She may surprise you by bringing up something you casually mentioned weeks earlier. Maybe it was a hobby you wanted to start. Maybe it was a place you've always wanted to visit. Maybe it was a challenge you've been trying to overcome. You forgot you even mentioned it. She didn't, because when feelings become real, attention becomes intentional. This is also why she starts considering how her decisions affect both of you. Before making plans, she naturally wonders whether they fit into your shared life. She begins imagining experiences you'll enjoy together. Not because she's dependent on you, because partnership has quietly entered her thinking. Notice something important, though. This isn't about control. A woman who truly loves you doesn't expect you to give up your identity, and she shouldn't give up hers. Healthy relationships create space for two complete people to build something meaningful together. That's very different from losing yourself. Real love says, I want to grow beside you. It never says, I want to control you. And here's the lesson every man should remember. Never take consistent effort for granted. If she keeps showing up, remembering the little things, encouraging your growth, and making room for you in her future, don't assume she'll always do it automatically. Appreciation strengthens love. Acknowledgement deepens connection. People continue investing where they feel valued. If she makes you feel seen, make sure she feels seen too. Because the strongest relationships aren't built by one person carrying all the emotional weight. They're built by two people choosing, day after day, to remind each other that neither one is walking through life alone. The third sign is one that many men completely misunderstand. A woman who truly loves you doesn't simply enjoy your best days. She chooses to stay emotionally present during your difficult ones. Anyone can be affectionate when life is exciting. It's easy to laugh when everything is going well. It's easy to be supportive when there are no challenges, no disappointments, and no uncertainty. But real love reveals itself when life becomes complicated. There will be days when you're tired, discouraged, or questioning yourself. There will be moments when your confidence isn't as strong as everyone assumes it is. Every man experiences seasons where nothing seems to go according to plan. Watch carefully during those moments. Does she disappear the second life gets uncomfortable? Or does she quietly remind you that one difficult chapter doesn't define your entire story? A woman who genuinely loves you understands something important. She knows that strength doesn't mean pretending to have everything figured out. She respects the man who continues moving forward, even when life feels uncertain. That doesn't mean she expects perfection. It means she values resilience. When she sees you working toward becoming a better man, she's often willing to encourage your progress instead of expecting instant results. She may ask how you're doing, not out of curiosity alone, but because your emotional well-being genuinely matters to her. She notices when something feels different. She can often hear it in your voice before you ever explain it. She senses when your energy changes. And instead of making everything about herself, she creates space for honest conversation. That's emotional maturity. She isn't trying to read your mind. She's paying attention because she cares. This doesn't mean she'll always know the perfect thing to say. Nobody does. Sometimes her greatest gift is simply being present, listening, encouraging, believing in you when you're struggling to believe in yourself. Those moments build trust that goes far beyond romance. Because every lasting relationship eventually faces pressure. Careers change, plans fail, unexpected challenges appear. The couples who survive aren't the ones who never face hardship. They're the ones who face it together. There's another detail that often goes unnoticed. A woman who truly loves you doesn't constantly remind you of your past mistakes after you've genuinely learned from them. She allows room for growth. She understands that everyone has flaws. Instead of keeping score, she looks for progress. That doesn't mean ignoring unhealthy behavior. Healthy love still includes honesty and accountability, but it also includes grace. She recognizes the difference between someone who refuses to grow and someone who is sincerely trying. And if you're making that effort, she'll often become one of your biggest sources of encouragement. Here's the challenge for every man watching. Ask yourself this. Are you offering the same emotional consistency that you hope to receive? Do you remain patient when she's facing a difficult season? Do you listen without immediately trying to fix every emotion? Do you encourage her dreams the same way she encourages yours? Because love isn't measured by who needs support less. It's measured by whether both people continue showing up when support is needed most. When a woman consistently chooses connection over convenience, patience over pride, and encouragement over criticism, she's revealing something words alone never could. She's showing you that your relationship is no longer built only on attraction. It's being built on commitment, trust, and the quiet decision to stand beside you, not only when life feels easy, but when it matters the most. The fourth sign is one that many men mistake for something ordinary, when in reality, it reveals the depth of a woman's emotional commitment. She begins protecting the relationship instead of protecting her ego. That changes everything. In today's world, it's easy to walk away the moment a disagreement appears. It's easy to believe that every misunderstanding means you found the wrong person. But real love doesn't eliminate conflict. It changes how someone responds to it. A woman who truly cares about you doesn't enjoy creating distance every time emotions run high. She wants resolution more than she wants to win. That doesn't mean she'll agree with everything you say. She won't. Healthy relationships are built between two different people with different experiences, opinions, and personalities. Disagreements are inevitable. The question isn't whether conflict happens. The question is what happens after it. Watch how she handles difficult conversations. Does she make every disagreement a personal attack? Or does she focus on solving the problem instead of defeating you? A woman who genuinely loves you understands that you're on the same team. She may need time to process her emotions, but she doesn't spend that time looking for ways to hurt you. Instead, she looks for ways to rebuild understanding. She wants clarity. She wants honesty. She wants both of you to leave the conversation feeling heard, not defeated. That's emotional intelligence in action. She also becomes more intentional with her words. She knows that certain comments can leave lasting scars, even if spoken in anger. So, while she may express frustration, she avoids saying things simply to cause pain, because love respects the person it's speaking to. Another powerful sign appears in the way she handles misunderstandings. Instead of assuming the worst about your intentions, she asks questions. She gives you the opportunity to explain. She doesn't immediately create stories in her mind about what you must have meant. Why? Because trust changes perception. When trust is strong, people become slower to judge and quicker to understand. That's one of the quietest expressions of love. She believes your character deserves the benefit of honest communication. And here's something every man should remember. If she comes to you with a concern, don't immediately see it as criticism. Sometimes the conversation isn't an attack. Sometimes it's an investment. People usually don't spend energy trying to improve something they no longer care about. If she's communicating respectfully, she's showing that the relationship still matters to her. Meet that effort with maturity. Listen before defending yourself. Seek understanding before offering explanations. Respond instead of reacting. These habits build emotional security. Over time, they create a relationship where both people feel safe expressing difficult emotions without fearing rejection. That's incredibly rare. The strongest couples aren't those who never disagree. They're the ones who refuse to let temporary emotions destroy long-term trust. And when a woman consistently chooses honest communication, mutual respect, forgiveness when it's appropriate, and teamwork instead of unnecessary battles, she's revealing a level of emotional investment that can't be measured by romantic words alone, because anyone can promise forever during perfect moments. But the woman who chooses patience over pride, understanding over assumptions, and connection over unnecessary distance is showing you something much more valuable. She's showing you that loving you isn't just a feeling she experiences. It's a decision she continues making, even when life reminds both of you that real relationships require effort from two people who never stop choosing each other. The fifth sign is one of the quietest, yet it may be the most powerful of them all. A woman who truly loves you wants to see you become the best version of yourself, not a different man, not someone easier to control. The best version of the man you already have the potential to become. There's a huge difference. Some people encourage growth because they care. Others try to change you because they want control. Real love always knows the difference. When a woman genuinely loves you, she doesn't celebrate your comfort zone. She believes you're capable of more than you sometimes believe about yourself. She notices your strengths, even when you overlook them. She reminds you of your potential during moments of self-doubt. She encourages you to keep moving when you're tempted to quit. Not because she expects perfection, because she believes progress matters. Think about the conversations that stay with you. They're rarely the ones filled with empty compliments. They're the ones where someone saw greatness in you before you could see it yourself. That's what healthy love often sounds like. I know you can do this. I believe in you. I'm proud of how far you've come. Those simple words carry incredible emotional weight when they're backed by consistent actions. She also respects your purpose. Whether you're building a career, learning a new skill, improving your health, or pursuing a meaningful goal, she doesn't see your ambition as competition for her attention. Instead, she understands that personal growth makes both of you stronger. She celebrates discipline. She appreciates responsibility. She admires consistency. And when life becomes difficult, she reminds you why you started instead of encouraging you to give up. That kind of support is priceless. But here's where many men make a costly mistake. They begin taking that encouragement for granted. At first, they appreciate every word. Over time, they expect it. Eventually, they stop noticing it altogether. Never let that happen. Gratitude keeps love alive. Tell her that her support matters. Tell her that her belief in you gave you strength during difficult moments. People flourish when they know their efforts are seen. The same is true for her. Ask yourself another important question. Are you encouraging her growth with the same enthusiasm she gives yours? Do you celebrate her accomplishments without feeling threatened? Do you notice her hard work? Do you remind her of her value when she's questioning herself? Because healthy relationships don't create one hero and one supporter. They create two people who inspire each other to become stronger, wiser, and more confident together. That's what lasting love looks like. It isn't built on constant excitement. It isn't sustained by dramatic romance alone. It's strengthened through everyday encouragement, quiet respect, shared purpose, and mutual admiration. When a woman consistently invests in your future, supports your growth, respects your values, and celebrates your progress without trying to control your identity, she's revealing something many men spend years searching for. She's showing that her love isn't based solely on what you already are. It's also rooted in genuine excitement for the man you're becoming, and that's one of the clearest signs that her feelings reach far deeper than temporary attraction. Because attraction notices who you are today. Love believes in who you can become tomorrow. If you've stayed with me until this moment, you've probably realized something important. Real love is rarely loud. It doesn't always arrive with dramatic speeches or movie-like moments. More often, it reveals itself through quiet consistency, thoughtful actions, and choices made over and over again. Let's remember the 6 signs. She allows you to see her authentic self instead of hiding behind a perfect image. She begins thinking about the future with you in it, making room for your goals alongside her own. She stays emotionally present during difficult seasons instead of disappearing when life becomes challenging. She protects the relationship by choosing honest communication over unnecessary conflict. She encourages you to become the strongest version of yourself instead of trying to control who you are. And finally, she makes you feel respected, valued, and emotionally safe. Not just on your best days, but on ordinary days when there is nothing to gain except genuine connection. When these behaviors consistently appear together, they often point towards something much deeper than temporary attraction. But here's the truth that every man needs to hear. Recognizing love is only half of the journey. The other half is becoming the kind of man who knows how to receive it with maturity. If a woman trusts you, protect that trust. If she believes in your future, don't stop believing in yourself. If she supports your growth, support hers with the same energy. If she communicates with honesty, answer with honesty. The strongest relationships are never built by one person doing all the work. They're built by two people choosing respect over pride, patience over impulse, understanding over assumptions, and consistency over empty promises. Remember this: whenever you question whether someone's feelings are real, don't focus only on what they say. Watch what they repeatedly do. Words can be spoken in a moment. Character is revealed over time. The woman who truly loves you won't always be perfect, neither will you. What matters is whether both of you continue choosing each other with kindness, accountability, and genuine effort. That's the kind of connection that lasts. And if you're fortunate enough to experience that, never treat it like something ordinary, because authentic love remains one of life's rarest gifts. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 6 signs have you experienced in your own relationship, or which one do you believe is the strongest proof that a woman truly loves a man? Share your answer in the comments. Your experience might encourage someone else who needs to hear it today. If this video gave you a new perspective on female psychology, relationships, and becoming a stronger man, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more content that challenges the way you think, and share it with a friend who needs to hear this message.